I'm MSK, aka Master Swag King, coming at you guys today with another video. And if you guys are returning viewers or new viewers, then please consider subscribing to the channel if you have not already. Leave a like on this video if you enjoyed it and comment down below. Also, make sure you guys hit the notification bell. That way you guys can get notified on whenever I upload a brand new video or go live. And in today's video, we are going to be doing our LTA 2025 Winter Split team tier list. So for those of you guys who've been living under a rock, the LCS is no more. Riot Games has rebranded the LCS to be the LTA. Yeah, the LCS, which started all the way back in 2012, is no more because Riot ended up fucking over the LCS with franchising, and it never actually amounted to anything that they wanted to. So the viewership was declining. Nothing was getting better with the LCS. A lot of things that ended up failing. I mean, in 2024, things started picking up for the LCS, but it's like, you know, it's a little too late kind of thing. So they chose to do the Valorant model and rebrand the LCS to be the LTA. So it's not a franchise anymore. You have your partner teams, and then you have a team like 100 Thieves, which is a guest provisional team or something like that, along with Disguised as Toast team. So yeah, all that history of the LCS is gone because Riot Games sucks ass. But we will talk about that on a later episode of the Cloud9 podcast, because right now when I'm recording this, it's on the Cloud9 podcast. You guys know how much I hate Riot Games with everything they've ever done to hurt the LCS. But it's also the team's fault as well. So let's go into the teams right here. And as we do on all of our tier lists, Sheep Esports is right here. And then we have the ranking over here. I just put A through this. I was gonna put like good, average.
I'm gonna tell you right now, from now on, and because I think this is a better way to do tier list. If you're just gonna do a power ranking, it's just gonna be 1 through 8. I think the best way to do it is S, A, B, C, D, and F. You don't know it. It's just a better function.
Well, the thing is, I don't think there's any S tier quality teams in the LCS.
Yeah, that doesn't matter. You don't have to put somebody there. That's a very common thing that people do.
Okay. Also, before we go,
motherfucker, we different.
This is just a power ranking. This is a normal, but you did a weird format.
No, okay. You know why? Because they ain't no S tier team. They ain't no S tier team. It's a T1. They're S tier because they motherfucking win.
But I also think S tier should be qualified in the region too, and I think there is one S tier team.
All right. NA. So, the LTA South teams are here. We're just gonna do the LTA North, which is just the LCS essentially.
I think it's just 8 teams, right?
Yeah, and I Will Dominate is the English co-streamer for the LTA South. I don't know if they're going to have an English broadcast, which they probably won't. They'll probably just be nothing but a bunch of Japanese people over there speaking Portuguese. So let's get right into it. They have Team Liquid here. They kept the same roster last year. Just everyone's the same. So I have them at first or second.
Yep.
That's where
I think the first 2 are going to be pretty much the same as they were.
Yeah.
Yep.
So the reason why I would probably have them at second over first, I think it's FlyQuest over them, is I think when it comes to specific metas, looking at the roster, like Impact's going to be fine in the LCS, usually always is. I don't think is good at all, but he's serviceable in the LCS.
I genuinely don't. You don't think Umty's good at all?
He's okay in the LCS.
If we're comparing everybody in this roster, Umty is not the worst person on this roster, as it stands.
I would say so. I think APA's had better performances. I think Jan's had better performances.
Yeah, so you're comparing better performances. Umty is consistently never the worst player. He's just never the best player on the team. I mean, Impact looked like dog water in some of those series at Worlds. We had APA, who looked really good in some games, but I think overall he did not perform until the very end of the season. Yeon is just, man, I'm very impressed with him. I will give him credit. I had no faith in him at the beginning of the year, but he's proven me wrong.
Yeah.
He's proven me wrong completely. Core JJ doesn't look like the same man as he used to be. Umty is not the weak link of this team. He's just
I don't know. It's the LCS.
Umti was never good in the LCS. I mean, LCK. He was always bad, but I think he's not only is he slightly better now, but the quality of the teams, and we're just doing an LCS ranking, by the way. This is not a Worlds ranking.
I'm not talking about Worlds. He was okay in the LCS.
Yeah. Well, no, I genuinely don't think he's nearly as bad because the rest of the team they have some standout performances, but there's not ever a game where I think he's genuinely the worst player on the team. I don't think there's ever.
He's not the main carry. He's
I know I agree with that.
Player at best. Yeah,
but he is a supplementary player, and I think that is a good role for somebody who I would say it's like what Impacts used to be in the LCS.
Yeah,
Impacts used to be a supplementary player, and you would always be like, I would really want this guy on my team. I think Umti can fit that role. There are some better junglers than him in the league, but none of them are as consistently above average because that's what I think he is in the LCS as he is. I think a lot of them have off games, and I don't think Umti struggles that much as much as they do.
I think he's just a benefactor of a good roster around him.
I mean, I don't think it's. I mean, yeah, I don't think this was a very good roster at the beginning of the season, though.
Yeah, so for me, it really just depends on what meta's going to be there. Because APA, people forget, he was only ever good at 3 champions: Asol, Talia, and Ziggs.
He was so bad.
It depends. That's the thing, though. I think they'll be at least first or second, but it really just depends on the meta. And we know the meta right now is what's the new
I think APA has just improved. I don't think he's as limited champion as he used to be.
What's the new girl with the pink hair? Aurora.
Her name is let me see.
Her name Aurora, right?
No, the new character is not Aurora.
Not a Mesa.
I'm pulling her up right now because they just released her today.
Yeah, so I don't know if they're going to be on that patch, but the meta right now is either Aurora, Corki, Yone, Azir.
Did you know Corki's 0-11 in the LCK?
I did.
0-11 is crazy.
It just depends on can he play those champions as well as he can play Talia. I mean, Talia is in the meta. He can have that.
Talia is significantly harder than a lot of those characters. I think he's fine. Yeah. If you can play Talia, you can play all of those characters. I think Corki is one of the simplest characters in the game to play at a effective level. And I think that he is good at positioning, so I don't think he'll struggle with that. His Azir was good. I didn't hate that either.
Because the same thing I just applied for the APA applies to Yon too. They're both very meta dependent. If there's champions without the style they had last year,
her name is Mel, by the way.
So they'll do fine for the LCS, second place. That's kind of where I'm having them at. All right. So Shopify Rebellion, their roster is actually all different compared to last year. They have Fudge, who used to be C9's old top laner. Contracts, who was on NRG. It's like the only decent player on NRG last year. Palafox, who single-handedly had not a single good game last year. Every game was bad. I don't think it ever happened for any player I've ever seen most of the time. There was a game where there wasn't a single game I watched of him last year where he looked good at all.
You mean Palafaker?
Shit. All right. Yeah, B-Boy, who was hyped, but he was okay. He was with Zazel. He was okay. And they have Seos. Seos was on was he on that? He was in LTA before, right? Not LTA fucking A. He was in the LLA.
CB Low.
He was in the CB Low, or he was in the LLA?
No,
he was not in the LLA.
It was CB
He was
Low.
on CB Low.
The CB Low.
I remember saying, I know who Seos is. I've seen him for years.
Yeah, I mean, he's been on teams. I mean,
I've seen this guy. What do you guys think?
His team beat Fnatic once. I can't remember what's it called, but I think one of the big things we need to take into consideration is I actually think Shopify Rebellion has, on paper, one of the worst rosters in the LLA. I mean, in the LTA. I genuinely think they look garbage. And I want to point this out. This is the team that's owned by Moist Critical too, which is incredible to me. So that's an interesting concept. But
yeah, that's recent. Yeah. Fudge didn't come off the best split last year. It looked pretty bad, honestly. Contracts look decent on NRG. Hopefully, I don't know.
I think this is the 7th place team, honestly. Yeah, I genuinely think they're really
They were going to get Niski before, and Niski wanted to take
Even if they get Niski, there's no salvageable people on this. These are all people that used to be good, by the way. Every single one of these players at one point in time was really good. I think the bot lane is The bot lane is the strongest
player right now is just Contracts. That's it.
I mean, Contracts, I think the bot lane is pretty okay. And I think their contracts can be good. But overall, I think they're not only are they stylistically not going to match up, their team is just mediocre at best. At the very
Fudge is trash. Oh. What about you, Chaz? What do you think about between Team Liquid, Shopify Rebellion?
they look better than last year, but that's not saying much. Anytime you get the phone and move on from Tomil and Insanity, you're doing good.
Oh yeah, I forgot. Their previous jungler was Tomio, a motherfucker they brought up. I hate nepotism sometimes. Like, he played good in the academy. Motherfucker played 4 games and looked absolutely like giga shit.
See, the thing about it is, you know what's crazy? You always talk about how teams should just bring up their academy players just to try them out. But when they do, and they're trash, you let them know.
Yeah. Not every time's going to work out. I'm just saying, throwing away some random games here and there to see if he's worth it is not that bad. But just the way they did it was weird. So getting contracts is an upgrade over both of them. But yeah, the roster probably is going to be in that 5th, 7th tier. And is right here. All right. So next set of teams, Lion Gaming. So this is our Spanish team we get over here. As you guys know, I dated a Spanish chick before. I know exactly how they're about. I love tamales. I love tacos. I ate her taco a few times.
I will kill you.
Lies. You never ate a taco.
I ate her back taco out a few times. You know, it tasted pretty good.
That's a big lie.
She would put her fresh tamales in my face, a lot of times, and made me eat them, and I had to do it.
I wouldn't be surprised. She probably would have shake her big old, can in your face, because she was tired. She was aggressivly assaulting games. I seen those streams. She was, oh my God.
She had some big titties, but nevertheless, their roster is
assaulting old James. James just like, yo, James, fight for yourself, nigga.
Good Lord. Lion Gaming's roster is Licorice, Audie, Saint, Henna, and Lions? Or is it Yawns?
What's up?
Lions. Okay, so Audie. So Audie has been in the LLA forever. Audie has essentially been one of the oldest junglers in league competitive, still to this day. He's just always been in a minor region. I don't remember Saint. I've never seen this guy. Henna, I remember from being on Fear X and KT for a little bit there. He was okay. Licorice looked like absolute shit on Dignitas. I have no clue why he's here.
Now, I think a lot of this team didn't look terrible the previous season. They were not that bad. I mean, didn't they beat 100 Thieves? So we have to put that into consideration. I think
at Summit.
I get that. I do get that. But the overall team didn't look that bad. I think Summit carried them. I won't even deny that. I do agree with that.
But they don't even have. Yeah, that's the thing. They don't even have the same roster from the last time. It's different players too. Know.
But I think I would still put them, honestly, above Shopify for sure.
Do you think they have more potential? I think so.
I think they have more potential. Shopify just is a mediocre team. They're a mediocre team. I think they're going to be stuck there. I think that is the extent at which we're going to see them at the maximum.
So you think they'll be the 5th place team?
5th?
That's hard because Licorice was running it down very
I
hard.
think they stop at Dignitas. I don't think they're better than Dig.
Okay. And
I think
what else is because that's the thing is if Henna can have some of those carry performances he had in the LCK, I think he'll do pretty good.
They might be better. So like the question
is too. Language barriers. All these guys do not even speak the same language. I know
most people can. What's it called?
Audie and Lawns speak Spanish. Saint and Henna are the imports, and you have Licorice, who's he's a top laner of all time now, apparently.
I think there's an argument to say that they're better than Disguise, but I think that's where the conversation starts. I think unarguably, I would put them above Shopify. I think Shopify is probably the worst team in the league.
Okay. FlyQuest, the roster's the same. Basically, with FlyQuest and Team Liquid, they ran it black. I mean, they ran it back.
Yeah, I agree.
To me, FlyQuest would be the best team. And they're in the reason people ask, wasn't Team Liquid better throughout the year? That is true. Team Liquid, honestly, were consistently better than them throughout the year. But I do think FlyQuest's peaks are higher. I don't really believe in Bucio, but I do believe when
Bucio looks better. Like, I'm all these players that I didn't.
Toward the end of the year, he looked better.
Yeah, I'm not disagreeing with that. I'm just saying if we go based on the last time we've seen them, I'm impressed with FlyQuest. Every one of those players stepped up.
FlyQuest's peaks when they were consistently getting better looked better than Team Liquid's. Now, if someone had Team Liquid over them because they were just better throughout most of the year, that's fine too. But I think if you're looking at how the season might progress, I think FlyQuest will be better as the season progresses too. Because keep in mind, Spire definitely better than Umti by a pretty big margin there. He's probably the best player in the LCS if we're looking at Slash performance as well. So What about you, Chaz? What are you thinking?
FlyQuest #1, never close. He had that glow up, and then they just got better as the season progressed, and then they got to the playoffs.
If they have that Gen G performance they have here, I don't think who's going to beat them. Honestly, at that point.
Yeah. What you just hold on? What you just? Oh no, we're good.
Do you want to make love to me right now?
No, I was thinking about something.
Dick, man. All right. So,
hey, yo, relax.
Okay.
Relax, nigga. Dang.
Yeah, disguised. Genuinely, I'm not at all impressed with their roster.
Okay, so they have Castle, Zayu, Abadage, Scary Jerry, and Huhi.
How many times have we been unimpressed by Abadage? How many years in a row has that been?
I thought he played good when he was last time.
Well, I'm gonna tell you right now, Abadage.
When he was last in the LCS, maybe.
Well, I'm gonna tell you right now, Abadage is the best player on this team. I've seen Castle, I've seen FU. Who he had after last year to me has digressed.
Yeah.
And
I think it's Abadage.
I'm not a fan of Scary. I went and saw some Scary Jerry games. I'm Scary Jerry.
You're not scared? Stop. He's doing too many punts now. Oh my god. All right. So as you guys know, Castle was on Immortals. He was the only decent part of Immortals. I don't hate this move, but it's like if you're gonna import a player like Castle, it's like, is there nothing better? He's fine. He's okay.
I think I think the big problem with this team is what is their identity now? What do they have a lot of
player?
their carry player is Abadage. It's Abadage.
Yeah.
And I think that they have a relatively
they have a bunch of role players.
Zayu is not an aggressive jungler.
So I can't say if it'll be a carry ADC.
It's going to be determined by how well who he performs. I think this team's performance can go anywhere from 8th to 6th. And I think that is the limitation they have.
Okay. I agree with that too.
I would put them at 7th because I think Lion Games is probably on average better than them.
Okay, so they'll be like right there.
I can't even see him.
Yeah, it's so dark here. You see it better down there. So right there is Disguise team. Yeah, I'm just not hyped for that roster at all. I get it. Disguise Toast looks like a nice guy. He blew out that girl Chocobar's back, but that does not make you a good team builder, honestly. Like, Zayu is pretty... There's a reason why Dignitas kicked that guy. He was running it down pretty hard, you know? And he got kicked for Spica, who also ran it down pretty hard.
And it was still a good move. Overall, it was still a positive impact on their team. Even with
man.
It down.
And I hope some of these new players coming in, like the rookies like Scary Jerry, I hope they're good. It's nice to see some homegrown talent do well. And actually, you won't have to import because you have a good talent player right there. Like when whoever promoted Masu, they have an eye for talent there. All right. Last 4 teams here. Digna shit. Every single season, like with Vitality, I have to watch this fucking pathetic, useless dog shit org compete, and they're always bad. They made 1 finals back in 2012, and they've made a 3rd place match since then back in 2017 in summer. Yep. They've never been to a final. They've been to a finals in 13 years. They've been to a 3rd place match in 8. They usually get knocked out the first round. Their roster building is terrible. There was one split that went like 0-10 out the bat. They're just Vitality, but just for an A.
I don't think, honestly, I don't think they're a last place team with this roster. I just think they're going to be middle of the pack. I genuinely think, because at the end of the day,
they don't have Steven. She has issues. They have Lyra. Lyra hasn't played competitively. Yeah, Lyra's going to step in for him. Lyra hasn't played competitively since 2020.
Well, that's only going to be a first few weeks, though, probably, right?
Yeah. Even that's enough to knock him out, too.
Yeah, but I still think,
who the hell is Surdy? What the fuck is that?
We know who Isles is. We know who Tomo is.
That's crazy. Dignitas got rid of Tomo. They're like, hey, you're not good. Even though he didn't have performances that were that bad.
I don't think Tomo's that bad.
Gave him to 100 Thieves. And Tomo just came with Tomo, you can do better than coming back to these guys. Come on, man.
I think Dignitas is probably, and I do think it's arguable they'll be 5th place.
No.
I think it's fair to say. You think they're going to be last?
You probably are.
Shopify Rebellion?
That roster looks so bad.
Go back to Shopify Rebellion's roster.
Sorry about Rebellion. Yeah. Give me 1 second.
Go back to their roster real quick. Look at them.
Yeah, Dig is 8th.
That's crazy. Okay. It's up to you.
No way. Their roster looks so bad.
They have a lot of players that have performed. They have a lot of players that have performed.
Performed in the trash can. Yeah.
Okay, I'm not talking about every character. You're in the LCS. At least one player is going to be dog water.
And even when they get Sheetan, oh yeah, I'm for sure keeping 8th there. Who's Keen? Let me see. Unless it's the Keen I'm thinking about. No, is it the Korean Keen? No, it's not the same. It's not the same guy. Okay, I thought it was the other Keen they had a long time ago who was absolutely.
This guy was pretty good on Rainbow 7. I don't know if you remember that.
He's a Japanese, right?
Yeah, he was.
Yes.
So, okay, for sure 8th. Thank you for convincing me.
He was not bad. Do you not remember his play?
He won't be performing well here.
Do you remember what team he dumpstered in the Worlds?
Yes.
By himself?
Yeah, no, I think he's a fine player.
He's probably one of the better mid laners here.
Not around these guys. No way. Not around
it doesn't. I don't think Tomo's that bad. I don't think Tomo's that bad.
It reminds me of when Dignitas had that one guy who was the role swap top laner to mid. They had the same guy, a similar thing like this last year, relying on just a Korean player to carry them. Didn't work out either.
Well, it's not just so the thing about it is there are good players on this team. You're misunderstanding. The only one I'm not quite sure about is Surdy, because I don't really know who that is, in my opinion. I know a lot of.
Do you think this guy will be worse or better than them?
I think there's an argument for this one. I do actually think there's an argument because I think Abadage, but I think Keen's better than Abadage.
So you would have this guy's over Dig.
That's where I would make the argument because there's a huge argument for me. I think Dig is definitely better than Shopify Rebellion, without a doubt in my mind.
Think so?
I think look at them.
Who's the carry threat on Dig besides?
It's literally Keen. It's Keen. Tomo's not bad. Do you remember how Tomo played?
There's been some games that all these guys have carried. B-Boy's carried a few games.
B-Boy has carried. B-Boy hasn't carried a game in like 4 years, dude. That's the last time that man carried a game.
All right, let's go to Cloud9. Cloud9's roster is Thanatos, Blabber, Loki, Sven, Vulcan. What the hell is this roster anyway?
That's a question I have too.
Like, okay, Thanatos came in because Fudge was just straight shit in the bed. Blabber didn't have a good year at all last year, really.
Yeah,
we were saying like we probably should get rid of this guy. Like if Cloud9 sent a blank check to FlyQuest for Inspired, I'd be cool with that.
Listen to me. I'm going to tell you right now, Blabber is going to look better this year, and I will explain why. Because this year's jungle pattern, literally all you have to do is mindlessly gank. That's the entirety.
Yeah.
That he will benefit from this patch. I actually think that Cloud9 will be better this season. Whether or not it's going to be by a lot is a question mark to me. I mean, I'd still probably put him at 4th or 3rd. That's around where I'd put them at.
And then you have Loki, who was on Humble Life's backup team. I've seen some of the games they played with him. He looks
that's a question mark for me. I don't know about him.
I think he looked somewhat talented. I don't know how that's going to play.
The bot lane is going to be serviceable. The mid laner is going to make or break this team. This team could be first place if Loki is amazing. If Loki is a great player, this is a first place team because macro has been thrown out the window with the way the early game has been dominating the meta. Let's be honest. Early game domination is going to define a game in bronze. And this is, I know it's hard to like really compare solo queue to professional play, but if a bronze team can close out the game 65 to 70% of the time when they get that first feat, when they get the feat, there is a high chance that the professional players can take advantage of it even harder. That is a 6 to 1100 gold difference just based on the boot upgrades you can get, and you don't have to pay that much for them. You'll always be permanently ahead of your enemies. That's just how it works. Though, I mean, honestly, I think the jungle buff, that mid game boss that shows up, I don't really care for him. I don't think he's as important as people make him out to be. It's cool.
I don't know about that,
dude. It's the XP and the GA is interesting, but a pick is still a pick. If you die in a side lane,
that completely warps the game because not only do you have to essentially kill them all to take off the buff, you essentially don't get to kill them because they can just go back to the base and reset. So you have to essentially
how often do GAs decide a game? So the reason GAs are good is because they're good on carries.
But not that. When they die, they go completely back to the base and they don't even die.
So it doesn't matter. So
what do you mean?
That is an inch. I'm not saying that's not impactful. The most impactful part about this, and there's a reason why a lot of people don't like, it's not massively prioritized. The reason for it is the feat.
Oh, well, also the buff has to spawn with a certain amount of kills, doesn't it?
No, it just spawns different types of spawn. One, it's not the same buff every time. It's an XP or Guardian's Angel buff. If the Guardian's Angel buff spawns, the game is going slowly and it makes no difference.
Yeah.
If the XP buff spawns, it means the game is going fast and it really didn't do much besides inhibit. Like the buffs are switched around so they don't benefit the team.
So you think Blabber will play better based off?
I think they'll play better because not because of the buff, because of the feat, which gives you boots upgrades. Do you understand that? If you get the feat, which means you get two of three things. You get the first tower, first blood, and 3 objectives. You have to get all 3 void grubs, obviously, to be able to count as a 1. If you get all 3, get 2 of those 3. If you get 2 of those 3 things, that's the big thing you really need to You need to take into account. So if you get those things, you have a permanent 6 to 1100 gold buff. A gold difference on the
enemy. The crazy part is
permanently.
These games are about to go long as hell with teams in the LTA. There's I could just
these games are going to end the snowballing. Games that last for an hour.
These games might actually last like that GX versus Rogue one.
The games that last for that long is because teams don't know what they're doing.
Okay, so the last part of the roster is Zen and Vulcan. Zen came back to Cloud9 after being on Dignitas. He was, I guess, the best part of that Dignitas roster. Vulcan has been good for a while. I really can't for the life of me understand why he's still here.
I think, you know what's weird? He started playing poorly when he started playing with Berserker.
Oh, before that too. Remember he was playing with FBI too? He played.
I don't think he was as bad with people who could speak English.
Okay, so for me, he started playing not good when he was on that EG roster with Someday, then with Prince, and then he was on Cloud9 last year. So he's got like pretty bad, like 4 bad splits.
Where is Prince now? I forgot.
Prince retired.
Prince retired?
Yep, he retired. After that stint in the LPL, he just retired.
Didn't even know that.
So Zen and Vulcan, the reason why they broke up before is because Vulcan just didn't want to play with Zen anymore, and vice versa. So I'm to understand this. I know like they're right now going like, oh, we'll work it out. Anyone can say that bullshit to you when season hasn't started yet. When it's in the thick of it, pressure's on. If they have the issues they had before, that team's Cloud9's not gonna look that good. The roster is just so weird. I probably just have to put it at 3rd. I think you're right. If Loki does pop off and he's actually some like gifted mid laner, they might contest for 1st place, but I think he's have to be at 3rd.
I think so. I think they could be 4th, 3rd. If Loki is amazing, they could shoot.
He doesn't look bad. I've seen him play.
Yeah,
with him.
This roster is all dependent on him though.
Also, I think what might make the roster work better this time is because last year, even though they had a super team, quote unquote, that failed everything, they had no synergy at all. Synergy was the biggest reason why they didn't win last year. Also, they had no chemistry. They had no one to shot call in the game, no decisive decision making. But they also aren't going to only just have one coach this year. They have Venero, which I don't really know why he's also there either. He's had no success ever. But whatever, I guess we just bargain bin for people now on this roster.
It's hard to get a coach that's better than a previous ex-coach. Venero understands the game, and I won't deny that from him.
I'm just glad he's not the head coach.
I think he should be an analyst.
Yeah.
That's what I think every time. Every time I see professional players being the coaches, coaches require a level of team correct. You have to be able to correct your teammates.
Yeah, it feels like the players listen to Reaper. The problem with Reaper is he's not the best like analyst. He's good at directing his points and telling you what you're wrong at, but they only just had him on the roster as a coach last year. But 100 Thieves, the one who beat Cloud9 and went to Worlds last year, their roster is essentially the same as well. They just have FBI over Tomo. I know it says Meech here, but they got rid of Meech earlier in summer because he was shit in the bed. So they have Tomo now. And then now they have FBI.
Not a bad team. I don't think it's a bad team.
They'll just be 4th, honestly.
They'll be 4th. I mean, this is going to be a above-average team. It's just what it is.
I'm still wondering why Ale is still on the team, but that's just me.
That's true.
I'm not. What? Yeah. Because I understand why they can't have FBI and Huhi. We don't need to keep running that back with this bot lane.
Yeah,
but it's been good. It's been a consistently good bot lane. I just don't understand.
Not last year.
They've had one bad year. They've been together for like 6 years.
2022, it started to fall apart right before the playoffs of 2022.
Were they together in 2023? No, they weren't. No,
that's when you remember. That's when they
also the FBI had Vulcan. Yeah. No, after last year, you couldn't have got Hui. And plus, I mean, to be honest, they probably didn't want to play together anymore. They play together. We already seen
the played last year and it didn't work. It was like
terrible.
Nah.
Yeah. I don't know what other support they would have gotten unless you just completely just do what one of these other rosters.
I'm surprised they ain't trying to get Ignar.
Maybe you get either what's the SK player that's not Loopy. Maybe you get Luan. Maybe you get Ignar. Those are your only other options. I think
the issue is River and Quinn make your two import slots.
Oh, you're right. Yeah, Quinn's an import. Holy shit, you're right. And River does. Yeah, you're right. Yeah. You would need like an NA resident, and yeah, keeping Ayla is just that can't work out. I'm sorry. Like Sniper's okay, he's fine. River, depending on the meta, can be good or bad, but then get better as the season goes. He was not good at playing the mage junglers before, and he got better with them as the season went. Honestly, he's the only reason why they even made playoffs too. You know that series he carried against Dignitas? That was pretty good. Look at that. Quid is a weird player. He started out really good last year. Then that summer split, he just completely shit the bed. Until like the literal very end of it. He had an MVP performance in spring, and then people were like, if it was any other player, people would have ran that guy down, criticizing him. He went from being an MVP player, like I just said, to just non-existent, completely just gave up on his team completely. Then they brought in Tomo, it reinvigorated them. They're like, you know what? Guess we can win now. Which is like everyone just ignore how this guy just blatantly ran it down for like 8 weeks straight.
Listen, there's not really much you can do with the quality of the players that are in the LCS. That's just what it is. You have to understand that. Taking that into account, you have to. Mediocre players are just everywhere.
Yeah.
These mediocre players, if you're not,
burn. Mic drop.
That was not a mic drop.
Oh, Chaz got my back. It don't matter.
Chaz got me from the back.
Good.
But
take a coach shower, my nigga.
You better come with me. Keep me warm.
What is wrong with you? Get your man. He wild out here.
Hey man, if he's like aggressively trying to jerk me off later, what it takes. I'm just kidding. Okay,
I'm gonna say a lot of the teams in the LCS are going to be filled with mediocre players because mediocre players are probably over 50% of the rosters. That's just the reality.
No one wants to come here and compete anymore. We're just getting the bargain bin players at this point.
I mean, I don't think the LCS teams are willing to spend anymore. I think that's why.
No, I agree with that. Yeah, the teams want to be mega budget oriented because people don't remember. Okay, from the LCS, they had a revenue split system. Yeah. This time around, they are changing it to a stipend, which basically means that the teams are making less money. So years ago, you could basically run a competitive bottom tier decent roster on the league minimum that they would give you, for how much money that they would give teams, but that would be a decent amount of money to actually cover all your operations.
But I do want to point out,
and now this year you don't have, they have less money you're getting.
No. Overall, they're gaining more money because I don't know if you know this.
We have sponsors here anymore on some of these teams.
LCS, the LTA is going to be paying a large amount of rosters as long as they don't go over a specific minimum. They're paying for the players' rosters.
So if you're paying league minimum, what's that, 70K? Like it
doesn't matter. The teams aren't playing that though. The league is.
Well, that's the thing. I don't think they've ever revealed this.
They did reveal.
Paid during a year, like how many
listen, it doesn't make a difference if the league is paying for it. Those don't go into factor with the team's budgets.
Yeah, but that only works on certain teams. Like if you're talking like bottom tier teams, they're going to use league minimum, right? Yeah, Team Liquid was definitely way above league minimum. So was FlyQuest. FlyQuest spent a lot of money on that roster. So.
Yeah, and that's onto them.
Yeah. So that's the thing is, a lot of these orgs are just going like, you know what, we're going pure budget. Like most of these players are probably not on good contracts at all. Like people think Scary Jerry's on a decent contract. No way, not even close. The Lion Gaming rosters mostly, if you're keeping the same guys, probably around the same.
I think Lion Gaming is. I think you're underestimating them a little bit. I know they lost Summit, but they're not that bad.
They went from Summit to Licorice. That's
okay. That is. I'm not even gonna pretend that's not a huge downgrade.
Summit. What's the difference between him and the Shy? I feel like they're the same players. That one
they're
is
the
more
same play style, not the
and
same.
They're
player.
Korean. They have the same haircut.
Price.
The same.
Price. Way.
It's not even just he's just better. He's just a better version. He's an enhanced version of Summit.
Yeah, enhanced Inter. So,
but cheaper, a lot cheaper. Like
Okay, so that pretty much concludes our LTA 2025 Winter Split Team Tier List. We'll go closing thoughts. Chaz, what are your closing thoughts about
the LTA?
Rosters?
The LTA North End's office will be a shit show. That's my honest opinion. They're gonna be a shit show, but it's gonna be fun to watch.
Do you think it'll be better than last year? Last year was so bad. I actually wanted to hang myself while watching those games. It was awful. The best of ones and best of threes. I was like, please end my life.
The best of ones are going to be shit shows because a lot of teams are going to win.
Remember, for those who don't know, there's a split in the summer split. Oh my God. I don't know what crackhead rioter made this system. So a first place team can choose an eighth place team to face off against each other.
That's how it should be.
God, man.
That's how it should be, in my opinion, for the playoffs. The higher
the regular season.
Wait, what?
So the regular season. In the regular season, if like FlyQuest could essentially choose to play against like Lion Gaming initially.
I mean that the games
they're doing like the draw show bullshit.
Yeah, but the thing about it is every team is going to play every team equally at equal amounts. So it doesn't really make a difference.
But the thing is, every team is going to take the easier team to face no matter what. They're not going to try to face a hard team.
I don't think it would make a difference. You're going to play those teams an equal amount every time. So it doesn't make a difference who you play.
I think
it's 16. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Do
you understand what I'm saying?
Do you want to get bent over and ass eat now, sir?
Yes, Chaz. Talking to Chaz right now?
No. He talking to yo. He talking to you, motherfucker. You, game.
Oh God.
He talking to you. He ain't talking to me.
So, all right, white man with terrible.
I'm just getting a little zesty ass talking to you, game.
Whoa! I'm a hot top G wristmaster, but
lies.
White man with terrible league opinions. What is your closing thoughts on LTA for the split?
I mean, I think that we're going to be surprised by one or two teams. I think there are going to be over performances because at the end of the day, the only teams that are probably going to be exactly what we expect them to be is like Shopify, Rebellion, and a few other teams like that. The teams that just don't have any potential. Whereas those teams like Cloud9, who have Loki, and teams like Lions Gaming, who have a lot of people were questionable about they have performed, but there are question marks about them. All these teams are going to either underperform or overperform our expectations by a large margin, I feel like. But we just can't.
You said that every year for every split for every region.
Okay, that's always the case. There's always a team that is going to over.
But you got a spicy hot take, like fucking.
What do you want me to say? It's okay. Cloud9 is going to be dog water because they're your favorite team. They're going to get 8th place.
Now, there you go. That's spicy.
No,
that's spicy.
Cloud9 is going to be top 2.
You basically gave like the take of like, oh yeah, the teams will be good at some point and some will be worse.
Listen, listen. The reality is,
you crackhead. My God.
Tell me your hot take.
My hot take is I'm going to be white by 2026.
Cloud9 is probably going to be first or second place at the beginning of the season. I think that's my hot take.
That would be a hot take.
I think that is going to happen. I think it's very likely. But a conservative take with my power rankings is where I'd place them at 3rd to 4th. I think Loki is probably going to be one of the best top laners, if not the best top laner in the
Loki's
mid laner.
Pretty hard.
My brain is not working. He's going to be one of the best
laners. Pretty good. Really?
That was pretty trash. I don't like that.
Oh God. I would say if I had a hot take, I believe in almost none of these guys. I've seen these guys forever at this point. Yeah. Fuck. Also this. I hope. No. Fucking hell. I believe in none of these
guys. Don't hope again.
I'm not gonna front. I believe in none of these teams. These teams are so bad.
I believe in you.
Fucking hell. Okay. Because there's one team is gonna go to the first strike tournament. Who's winning the split?
Who's winning the split?
Yeah.
I really think
go to first strike.
There's only 3 teams in contention, in my opinion. There's only FlyQuest, Team Liquid, and Cloud9. Those are the 3 teams I even consider. Everybody else literally might over or underperform, but they don't have the potential to win the split. I just don't believe in anybody else. I think that's just the reality of it.
So you're saying it's FlyQuest going?
I think it's probably FlyQuest. They played really well, and they're still the same team. You run that team back when they had such good performances, you're going to get improvements.
I think the only issue they'll run into is with a lot of rosters that keep the same one together that have success the previous year is that they kind of can start slow initially up front. That's usually an issue. But later on, as they ramp up, it usually looks a lot more different. Also, I'm pretty sure this system for this winter split is you're out if you go 0-3, and you're playing a best of 5 or a best of 3 initially up front, unless I'm got that wrong. So you're not just getting like one gaming, like your 3 best of 1s and you're out. So at least that's good. So yeah, my closing thoughts is Riot completely shitted on the LCS when it was franchised, and this is kind of like their pivot moment to this. If this doesn't work, well, we're actually really screwed because there's no other things past this. This has to work now, you know. So hopefully Cloud9 does well. I mean, if they win a split, I'll be happy with that. After getting completely shitted on last year. Good Lord. There's not much else. Yeah, it's still going to be the worst region, I imagine, right? Or the best, because they're better than the LPL, right? Just kidding, obviously. So hopefully it's a good split to watch, because last year was just peak horsewater shit. So thank you guys for checking out this video. If you guys are returning viewers or new viewers, then please consider subscribing to the channel if you have not already. Leave a like on this video if you enjoyed it, and comment down below. Also, make sure you guys hit the notification bell. That way you guys can get notified on whenever I upload a brand new video or go live. I'm MSK, aka Master Swag King. We're going to sign out.